Hey everybody and welcome. I hope you can all hear me okay. My name is Bill Cope and I've been involved with this conference since it began, and I'm actually here. I'm running this online session, but I'm actually at the conference in Malta at the moment. I'm not sure whether the other people in the group, whether you're here or whether you're remote, but we'll get to find that out in a moment. So just let me suggest the way in which this session will run. I'm going to do a little introduction about the conference, and then what I'd like to do is get each of the other people who are here online to introduce themselves. Tell us if you're presenting, what it's about, and where you're from and all that kind of stuff. If you're in a noisy place and you can't speak, that's no problem. You can just put something in the chat, or if you don't have a working microphone or something, that's no problem. So, and then after that, I'm going to get Kayla Ryan. So I want to introduce you to Kayla Ryan there, and also Gillian Solomon. They're both people who work with keeping these conferences on the road with Common Ground. And then Kayla's going to do a little introduction to the platform and basically how to use the online platform. But firstly, a kind of a little introduction about the conference itself. It's been, we've been running it now for 16, must have been 16 years, but this is the 16th one. Time flies. The first time we ran it, we ran it from Melbourne, in Melbourne, Australia. And then each year we move around to different places. And obviously with COVID, we were trying to move and we couldn't move. And one of the things we did during COVID is that we set up this online platform, which is actually for everybody, whether they're in person or whether they're online. So we encourage the in-person people to record their sessions as well and to upload those. And what are the numbers, Gillian? You might know. I know there's about 100 people in person at the conference, about 100 people online. Digital media, what are our numbers there? Do you know those numbers off the top of your head, Carla?
I can check really quick.
Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, look, there's a lot of material there. And one of the things that we say is, most of the sessions are asynchronous sessions. Is never to leave one of those sessions without leaving a comment. So even at an in-person conference, there's a limited scope to talk at the end of a session or to ask questions, whereas these online formats give you an infinite scope to leave substantial comments. And even if people are not there at the time when you put your comment in, it triggers an email. So that, the asynchronous stuff, people might come back to it when they see the email. So do please leave a comment there. So, and actually this is, I said e-learning. We also have the technology conference as well. So these have gradually blended together over the years in a whole lot of ways, a whole lot of overlaps. So it's actually two conferences that are overlapping. One about e-learning, which is specifically about technological applications to education, but then there's a more general technology strand in that conference as well. So we're doing the two of those together this time. So they're the main things by way of introduction. So any important things that I've left off, Carla? We'll come to the kind of the introduction to how to use the online platform a bit further on. Kayla or Gillian, anything else that I need to say at the beginning?
No, I think you got it all. I think you're good, yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so look, I'm going to go around the room now, and if you can't speak, I understand. There's no problems at all. And just get you to introduce yourself. And if you've got a paper, Kayla or Gillian will bring up a link for that and put it in the chat. And Luciana, I've just see your camera there, and you happen to be the first of my Zoom dials as well. So Luciana, quick introduction, and if you're speaking at the conference, what are you speaking about?
Hi, nice to meet you all. Yeah, it's, like being in school, I think my surname starts with a B, so Zoom and every other software kind of puts me out there. So I am currently in Valletta, actually, but I've traveled for the conference from Edinburgh, and I will be presenting a paper at the conference about intelligent automation systems. And it's a discussion on where we sort of draw the boundaries between how systems that integrate AI and RPA, for example, are designed, and where people act on them. And I'm an assistant professor at Heriot Watt University in Edinburgh, and I'm looking forward to hearing a little bit more about their topics and papers from everyone. Thanks for organizing it.
Excellent. And I just saw the link there that you've already had 44 people come to the page, and that conference hasn't even begun yet. So that's great. And it looks like absolutely topical, really important stuff. Of course, all the, the idea of intelligence and machines is, we can't get away from it any day now. It's in the news, and that's one of the big themes of the conference. I'm really glad that you're here. I'll probably see you at the conference in person tomorrow as well. So welcome, and great to have you here. And as I say, Kayla's, for the other folks, Kayla's putting the links in the chat if you want to just see what each person's paper is. Okay, and the next person I have is Abdul Razak Brokari. Sorry, I was destined to get that pronunciation wrong, so my apologies. I think we might have lost him. No? Maybe he's typing something in the chat. So, all right then, I might just, and that's the case, I will move on to the next person, who is Afnan Haj Ali. Are you there? Hey, now I can't hear you. Have you got your sound muted or something? I can still not hear you. Can anyone else hear Afnan? No. Can you hear us? No, well, we can't hear you. While you are trying to work on the microphone, I'll just pull up the link. Thanks for that, putting the link in there. So Arab High School teaches quality of life, work life in Israel. So this is obviously a solidly educational presentation here. So that's great. And you're a postdoctoral fellow in the School of Education at Ben Gurion University of the Negev in Israel. So welcome. Sorry, we can't hear you. But anyhow, that's if you take the link there, you'll see that particular paper. So that's great. Oh, I can hear some sound now.
Is it okay now?
Hello? Oh, yes, that might be you, Abdul Razak. We might jump to you.
Sir.
Yes, go on. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Abubakar Abdurazak from Ghana. I'm a teacher of Yahweh Experimental School with about 30 years experience on the job. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, it's great to have you here. There you go. You've got people from all over the place connecting. The strangeness of Zoom, huh? So, yeah. Okay, and the next one we have on the screen there is Latrice Bowman. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm Latrice Bowman. I'm a mathematics professor at the University of Alaska Fairbanks here in Fairbanks, Alaska. And so I'm this conference. Looking forward to hear what everybody's got to say.
Great. Wonderful. Good to have you. Do we have a if we have links to any of these sessions, Gillian, and just pop them in the chat there. All right, and the next one is Erna Mukherjee. How are you, Erna?
Hi, I'm Urna. I'm well. Thank you so much for organizing this. I am a graduate student in the history of science and technology at Johns Hopkins University, and I just arrived at Malta this morning, so I'm still good. A little.
Oh no, fair enough. Then yeah. I came from the US too. But I've been here a day or two now, so I'm sort of I'm more or less in the time zone, so to speak. So welcome. And are you presenting, Erna?
Yes, I'm presenting. I'm presenting on the
We'll try. Oh, no, actually, you have pulled up another one. So let me just get that. Sorry, I didn't see the extra link there. This is, there it is. Shipbuilding in South Asia for European companies in the 18th century. Wow, interesting. Local networks and communities of knowledge and technology. Very, and you're a PhD candidate at Johns Hopkins. So wonderful to have you here.
Thank you so much.
So, and again, for the people who've come a little bit late, again, this is a blended conference. We've got about 100 people in person in Malta and about 100 people online. We ask all the in-person people to please put in digital material so the online people can all share it. And also it's a kind of a historical record as well of what it was that was said. And let me also mention, I'll mention the journal in a second, but the other thing I wanted to say was leave a comment before you leave any of these online sessions. You know, the in-person ones, often it's a bit hard for everybody to ask the question they want or say what they need to say. But in the nature of online, there's lots of space for that. Leave a comment, and the conversations are not synchronous. So what it does, it triggers, you know, there'll be, you know, probably nobody there live when you go there that exact second anyhow. It triggers an email and it brings whoever it is back to comment. So yeah, so do participate in those discussions. That would be, everyone would really appreciate that, I'm sure. Now the journal, which I'll mention as well, is that if and when you come to write your work up, we have a peer-reviewed journal, which has now been running for 15, 16 years. And also Kayla just put the link in the bookstore. Fantastic. Thank you for doing that, Kayla. So over the years in the e-learning journal, we've published about 373 articles. And can we get the one for the technology journal as well? Is that there? Oh yeah, it's there. You're ahead of me. So the technology journal is one where we've published more, nearly 1,200 articles. So what you get is you get access with the registration to this backlog of material. And if you might see, if you take the link, there's an advanced search button up in the right. So it's possible to find something which is closely related to your interest with the advanced search link. You know, in academe or research work generally, one of the marks of recognition is other people finding your work significant enough to cite. So we really ask people to look at each other's work and to cite it. It's a reciprocal kind of thing, and we hope that if you cite other people, they'll also cite you. So again, do use that resource. You've got access to it. And then in fact, there's also in this book, in technology, there's 8 ebooks already, and e-learning. I don't know whether we have any ebooks there. Maybe we don't. But anyhow, there's a lot of material there which you have access to as part of your Research Network membership that comes with. Oh, there you go. The book in print there are actually 3 books in this series as well, which are available as ebooks as part of your membership. So that's a little thing about the conference. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand over to Kayla, who's going to give you a demonstration of how the platform works. But before I do, any general questions? All good? Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing. Oh, yes.
Do you hear me
now?
Yeah.
Amazing. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. No, I want to ask about the schedule of the online presentation. You don't put it the time.
They are, I've got it, and you're going to be able to answer this, Kayla. Are there any synchronous sessions, or they're all asynchronous?
For the online sessions, there is one live workshop, which I believe is right after this session, but all the other online sessions will be asynchronous. So they're based on the uploaded digital media. So anyone can watch them at any time and do comments.
Yes. So again, we have people in all sorts of different time zones. So the sessions are going to be recorded. And you know, including the plenary sessions will be recorded. So what we're going to do is you'll be able to go to those. You won't be missing anything, but all the dialogue will be asynchronous. It's just because, look, you can see even now on the screen, people are in very different time zones, and also people can then, you know, manage the program at their leisure. There's also a function in the software where you can select which sessions you want to. You can highlight sessions, so to speak. So, yeah, no, thanks for that question. All right, I'm going to hand over now to Kyla, who's going to give you a bit of a demonstration. And look, one thing I always say before these demonstrations is there's a recording of this session. So if you miss something, you can go back and look at the recording again, or if there are bits of it that are just so obvious, but you missed something near the end, you can fast forward it or something. You know? So you're in control of that. So anyhow, Kayla's going to go ahead now with the introduction to the platform. So I'm going to hand over to you, Kayla.
All right, so I will share my screen. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, very nice.
Okay,
Thanks.
so first I'm going to show how to get to the conference microsite. So there are quite a few ways to do this. The first one is from either the e-learning or the Technology, Knowledge and Society Research Network websites. You can go to the 2023 conference. And then if you scroll down, there's a link to the microsite. And it's the same for technology. Once you scroll down, there'll be the microsite. Another way is through CGScholar. Sorry, 1 second. The Zoom controls always go over my tabs. So once you're on CGScholar, if you're not logged in the top right, it'll ask you to log in. But if you scroll down, you can go to your profile. And on your profile, you can see your activity, all of your profile information, your peers, and your communities. You can update your profile information by clicking here to go to your account settings. And we ask that in particular you keep your affiliation updated, as that's what's shown in the program next to your name. That's what people will see, and then they can click on your name. So we just ask that that's kept up to date. You can also see your communities here. We can see the e-learning one is here. I'm a member of quite a few. But if I click on the community, I can see all the activity, like people who join, any updates that are posted. You can also get the information about this year's conference and next year's conference, and information about the journal. So going back to my profile, another way to get to the microsites is if you go on the top right and then you go to your events. You can see there's the e-learning conference and the technology conference, and if you click on the names of these, you'll be brought to the microsite. Another way to get there is if you go to event at the top, you'll be brought to a list of all of the conferences. So once I'm here on the microsite, the first page just has information about the conference. It lists the special focus and all the themes for this year's conference, which the themes are the same year to year, but then there's a different special focus every year. So the next tab, if you have a proposal, will say your proposal. From here, you'll be able to view your proposal and upload any digital media. If you're an online presenter, uploading digital media is required, and we recommend something with both video and audio. So that could be a PowerPoint that you add audio to, a video recording of you giving your presentation, but you can also upload anything additional like PDFs, PowerPoints, pretty much anything. So we just ask that you upload that as soon as possible if you're an online presenter and you haven't yet. But if you're an in-person presenter, we also recommend that you upload digital media so that the online-only participants can also view your presentation and engage with it. The next tab is your registration. This just shows your registration. You can also download your receipt. I'm going to skip the presentations tab and go over that with the schedule because it's few links, but the next tab after that is special events. And as you can see, there are in-person and online special events like the case study afternoon. There's the session we're currently in, the online welcome and training session. There will also be an online talking circle, which I'll show on the schedule. So going over to presentations. As you can see, there is a following tab, and I've followed quite a few presentations, but I'll show you how to do that on the schedule. So what the following tab does is it's a way to curate all of the presentations that you'd like to see. It's personal to you and what you're interested in. It's a good way to like mark which presentations you'd like to come back to, or if you'd like to have updates about the discussion board for that session, because if you followed, you'll get an email once someone comments in that session, or you'll also get an email once someone replies to you. The featured presentations are our emerging scholars presentations, so I encourage you to check those out. You can also sort all the presentations of the conference by theme, so if there's one theme in particular that you're interested in, you can just see those. You can also sort by type, so if you're interested particularly in paper presentations or workshops or posters, you can view just those. And alphabetical just sorts all the presentations alphabetically. So now I'll head over to the schedule. Oh, and I just want to mention the technology microsite is also very similar. So all the tabs are the same things. It's just the schedule and the presentations tabs are a bit different. So going to the schedule on the e-learning microsite, as you can see, there was a pre-conference tour for any in-person delegates. There also is a session we're currently in. So if we click on the session, as you can see, the Zoom link was added here, but the session is also being recorded, as we mentioned, and the recording will be uploaded and added right here within the next few hours. There will be an embedded YouTube video. Also, if you have any additional questions after this, you can add them in the discussion board here, and I'll get back to you. There also is after this an online only featured workshop. And if you click here, you'll find the Zoom link. So I really encourage you to attend this if you find it interesting. The Zoom link has also been added to the technology schedule as well, as you can see here. So going to day one of the conference, we have an opening session and and 2 plenary sessions. These will all be recorded. So similar to this session, when you click here, the recording will be added here. And we'll also send an email once they've been recorded. And I encourage you, if you're an online delegate and you've watched the session, you can go to the discussion board and add any questions for the speaker. So after that, there are talking circles in person, and then there is an in-person parallel sessions. And as you can see, a lot of our in-person presenters have uploaded digital media. So these are all the presentations in this session. And so there will be the view digital media tag on any presentations where there is digital media, and you can click on it and you'll be brought to the presentation page. And at the bottom is all the digital media that's been uploaded. So please feel free to view that if you're interested in the presentation. And I'll just go over what's on this presentation page. So we have the title and the type of presentation. We also have the abstract, the presenters. You can also click on the presenter's name if you're interested in their work. You can add them as a peer. And then you can also see the theme and the keywords for the presentation. And then, so if we go back to the session, the discussion board here is for all of the presentations in this session. And we do this in this way so that if you have questions from multiple presenters, or if you want to make a connection between the presentations, you can ask a question to multiple people at once. So just keep that in mind if you comment in the discussion board, that if you're asking a question to one specific presenter, just make sure to address them. So going back to these presentations in this in-person session, as you can see, one of the presenters has not uploaded digital media. And so if you are interested in a presentation where there isn't digital media, if you scroll down to the bottom, if you haven't already, which I've already requested the digital media, there will be a button that will say, follow this presentation or request digital media. What this does is it sends an email to the presenter saying that someone's interested in their session, asking them to please upload. And then once they've uploaded, once you click that button, you'll receive an email once they've uploaded. And so once they've uploaded, you'll be able to go look at their presentation and comment in the discussion board. So going back to day one of the schedule. So there are more in-person parallel sessions. I do encourage you to comment on these in the discussion board, and the in-person presenters will also be able to see that. So continuing through this, there is another plenary session, and then there's also the online only talking circle. And so the Zoom link is posted here, and so I encourage you to join that as well. So going to day two, it's quite similar. There's a plenary session and then more in-person parallel sessions. So over on the online only tab, all of these presentations are asynchronous and based on uploaded digital media. And like we said, we do this in this way due to time zone differences. And then also, if everything's online and you can access it at any time, there's no need to worry about making a choice between seeing this presentation or seeing that presentation. You can watch as many as you'd like. And then this digital media will be available for you to view forever. So if you'd like to come back to it, you can at any time. And the discussion board will be open for about a week after the conference. So going to one of these sessions, the layout is quite similar to the in-person parallel sessions. We have a few presentations in the session. You can also click on any of them to view them. And then you can see they've uploaded digital media. And then you can also go to the discussion board. And as you can see, our emerging scholar who's moderating the session has already started asking questions, so that's great. And so you can leave a comment at any time that you'd like during the conference or even for up to a week after. And we just really encourage you, if you view a session, to please leave a comment and start a discussion. And then you don't have to worry about coming back to the discussion board to check if someone replies, as when you comment in the discussion board, the presenters will receive an email that someone has commented. And then when they reply back to you, you'll receive an email. So you don't have to worry about staying on the page and refreshing it. You'll receive an email. I also want to mention there is this featured tab, and these are emerging scholar presentations. And then I'll also go to one of these presentation pages. I just wanted to mention there is the number of engagements here. So 58 people have clicked on this session, have been interested in it. And then you can also see the number of engagements on the session itself, 54 engagements. And then for technology, it's very similar for the online sessions. Yeah, and I think that's everything. Jillian, is there anything I forgot? Okay. So I will stop sharing my screen. Does anyone have any questions?
Thanks, Kyla. That's great. As I say, a lot of it's intuitive, so don't expect you remember everything that Kyla just said. I think you'll actually discover that it's intuitive. But and as I say, if there's anything you do want, the video of this session's there, but also just feel free to drop us a message as well. Now I see a couple of new people have come into the session actually since we started. So I'll just welcome them. Yeah, my name is Bill Cope. Welcome. We've just gone through an introduction to the conference, and also Kayla's done an introduction about how the website works. So I'm going to recommend to the new folks that you go back and look at the video of this session, look at the first part, but also we had some very nice introductions from people who are attending the conference. And I wonder whether you folks who've just come in would like to introduce yourself. And Diego, I can see you have a question as well. So would you like to ask your question, but also perhaps briefly introduce yourself as well?
Okay, thanks. First of all, I would like to apologize for not having my camera available now. And just a question. For the participants of the asynchronous session, there will be a certificate or something like that. It's because I'm required of that certification as a speaker in an international event like this, so I'm just required that.
Of course.
So that will be sent after the activity. I mean, after tomorrow, after.
Yeah, we will be sending out certificates of participation after the conference if you've uploaded digital media, and then if you need any changes made to it or anything, the requirements from the university, just let us know. Just send us an email at support@cgnetworks.org.
Yes, I was wondering that because, to be honest, it was kind of difficult for me to have access to any of you, to have a direct contact with someone of the event, right? Because of the platform only allows contact the people from the platform, not you. So I didn't have any like any contact, any email or any part of that I could contact you to ask my queries.
Yeah, you can email us at support@cgnetworks.org. Also, show really quickly, there is a way to get to our support pages from CGScholar. So if you go to the top right up here, you can go to Get Support, and you'll be brought to our knowledge base. And if you go to any of the pages and you're unable to find the answer to your question, like for example, I'll go to this one, you can click on No here to open a support ticket, and then you can open a ticket and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
But also there's
there's
the email as well, which is support at as well. So yeah.
support@cgnetworks.org.
Yeah. They're the two ways. But look, Diego, what would you like to introduce yourself? What brings you to the conference? What's your topic? Where are you from? All those kinds of questions.
Yes, sorry.
You might find the link to it as well.
My name is Diego Alvarez. I'm from Colombia. I'm an English teacher here. I'm going to talk about microlearning as a English reinforcement for students in 6th grade private school here in my city. I did this project because of my master degree, master in education. So that's basically was my outcome of that study.
Great, wonderful. Yeah, that's perfect. Well, it's welcome, and it's good to have you here. And Kayla's just put a link into the chat for other people who'd like to see that session and maybe go and view it and comment on it. So welcome. And then the next person I have in my Zoom tiles is Bob G.
Yes, thank you. I apologize for being late. I thought that the session started a little later. I'm not very good on time zones.
See, that's why we have all these asynchronous recorded sessions, because you don't have to worry about time zones anymore.
Sure.
Sorry, Bob, go on.
Bob Greenstreet. I'm the Dean and Professor Emeritus at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. My area of research is the interface between architecture and law, and the paper I'll have sent in for presentation is the impact of legislation on tall buildings in the world. And
oh, wow.
That's
interesting. Yeah. Very interesting. And do we have a link for that? Yes, I've got it. There's a link there.
Thanks to Gillian, we do have a link now to
that's
the presentation.
Great. No problem. I can see you've got 76 people have been to the page already, which is very nice. So wonderful. Welcome. And you might I'm in Malta at the moment, and you might know from my accent, but I actually work not that far away from you. I'm at the University of Illinois, which is
sure. Yeah.
Okay, and the next one that we have, who's a person who's come along just recently, is Malika Busalam. I probably pronounced that incorrectly. Are you there, Malika? No problems if you can't get through, or if you don't have a working microphone. And I took the link now. Which is this her paper, or his maybe I'm not sure. Why did I think it was her? It doesn't matter, whatever it is. The paper is implementing task-based language teaching in English Pacific course using a blended learning environment. So it's this whole issue of technology and learning, which is very, very important. And the role is Senior Lecturer École Nationale Supérieure d'Informatique at the École Nationale Supérieure Algeria. So welcome, great to have you here and part of the conference. And again, I'll just come at the risk of being a bit repetitive. I'll repeat some of the things that I said earlier on. That since COVID, we've moved to this blended format. So in fact, we have about 100 people at these pair of conferences in Malta and about 100 people online. So what we really plead with people to do, in fact, is go to the asynchronous sessions, which is the digital material, and always leave a comment. And the great advantage is that we have there's lots and lots of space for leaving comments and lots of time for leaving comments. So there's more, it's less constrained than the 5 minutes at the end of a session normally is. So please do that. And then we have the journal as well, which is write this stuff up as in a formal kind of way as a journal article, and it goes through peer review with other people from the research network. So we the idea behind this is to produce formally published knowledge. In other words, it's about meeting, building a kind of a supportive network amongst the people who are in the network, who are reviewing each other's work and helping each other with the work that they do in this formal kind of way. And the result then is peer-reviewed text. Now, the other thing I was going to say as well is that we, part of the network membership is you get access to all the published materials. So they're in the case of the e-learning journal, there's many hundreds of articles. In the case of the technology journal, there's over 1,000 articles. And do use that, because one of the important, and there's an advanced search button. Kayla, a little bit while back in the chat, maybe put them in again, Kayla, because a couple of new people have come in since then, put in the links to the bookstore. So as part of your network membership, you get access to all that material. Yeah, there they go now. And, one of the important things in academia is to acknowledge other people's work by citing it. It's kind of a way of honoring the way in which their thinking's contributed to yours. So please, please do that as well. So look, any more questions, folks, before we go? Okay, well, look, some of you I'll be seeing tomorrow, and some of you will all be seeing ourselves mutually online in the next few days. So very nice. Well, I hope you all have a good conference and it's stimulating and interesting. I'm sure it will be. Okay, and thank you to Carla and Gillian for all the work you do.
Yep.
Okay, folks.
Thank you, everyone. See you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, Bill. Bye-bye.